Welcome to the Aries Girl Podcast. I'm your host, Aries Ramsey. All commentary provided in this video is alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only, under the guidance of the Fair Use Act of 1976. Well, now that we have that disclaimer out of the way, let's get into the show. This week's episode is entitled Keep My Wife's Name Out Your Mouth. A quick synopsis of the show lets us know that Tisha and Kimmy will be meeting up with Destiny to let her know about their meeting with Sunny. Stormy and Courtney will find out that someone is secretly married. Chris Fletcher will end up confronting Martell, and Moses will finally have a date with Destiny. Gee, this should be interesting. Hopefully, more interesting than last week's episode. In the first scene, Tisha meets up with Kimmy in what might be Kimmy's new office building. As Tisha walks in, Kimmy is on the phone with her friend and architect, Andrea, and they discuss Marceau working on the renovations for the restaurant that Kimmy and Maurice purchased. Tisha mentions that everything should be fine as long as they stick to the budget. Plus, Tisha doesn't want any business issues coming between the family. Kimmy is just ready to get things moving along. Destiny arrives, and they proceed to tell her that they spoke to Sunny. Who can forget the infamous coffee shop meeting between Sunny, Tisha, and Kimmy where Tisha grilled Sunny harder than a grilled cheese sandwich? In Destiny's confessional, she says that Tisha and Kimmy are her girls. Since Kimmy extended an invitation to meet up with her today, she was coming. Destiny claimed that they had been there for her throughout her divorce, and they are definitely showing up for her through the Sunny and Moses saga. Really, Destiny? I actually remember that you were close to Melody when you were going through your divorce with LB. And Melody didn't even know that you were getting divorced because you didn't even tell her until your divorce was practically final. But we're supposed to believe that Tisha and Kimmy knew about your divorce and that they supported you during that time. Okay, if you say so. Or do you mean they have supported you as LB continues to reopen your divorce because of the stunts that you continue to pull that have him dragging you back into court? Perhaps that's what you mean. Tisha and Kimmy just wanted to let Destiny know that they had met up with Sunny, which is why they are meeting up with her today. Kimmy wanted to be upfront with Destiny about everything. Kimmy proceeds to tell Destiny how Sunny was there for her through her cancer journey. So she reached out to Sunny when she found out that she was in town during the podcast hosted by Carlos King. Once again, Destiny is attempting to push the narrative that Sunny was let go as a producer from Love and Marriage Huntsville, meaning fired from the show. Now it is important for me to mention that Sunny has already disputed this claim of Destiny's by saying that she was invited back to work on the show but declined. Obviously, someone is lying here, and given Destiny's loose connection with the truth, I'm inclined to believe Sunny. Destiny is also reiterating that hers and Sunny's relationship was closer than just producer and talent. I mean, she was invited to Sunny's surprise birthday party in Mexico by Sunny's sister. I'm still trying to figure out why Destiny would let this be her storyline for returning to the show. I know that she is trying to make Sunny look bad, but she is actually making herself look worse. In Kimmy's confessional, she says that it is obvious that Sunny and Destiny have two totally different definitions of what their relationship was. Shockingly, Kimmy is more in agreement with Sunny's version of their friendship. She thinks that Sunny was doing her job, and apparently, she did it well. Back in scene, Kimmy tells Destiny that she and Tisha suggested that she and Sunny talk to one another. Then, on cue, Destiny starts pushing the narrative about Sunny and Moses being cousins. And how could you date your cousin? And she reminds us that when she received the text from Sunny saying that she and Moses were dating and that it was getting serious, she blocked Sunny in her contacts on her phone. Tisha changes the subject and tells Destiny that she and Kimmy met up with Mel and that Mel was in defense of Destiny. In her confessional, Tisha says that Destiny has a lot of issues right now, and that she just wants to keep things positive when she is around Destiny. So she just isn't going to bring up the fact that Melody insinuated that Destiny slept with Martell. Tisha, it was actually your sister-in-law Kimmy that first said that it wasn't like Destiny slept with Martell. That is when Mel responded that she didn't know what Destiny did and that she doesn't put anything past her. Did you forget that part, Tisha? Or are you conveniently leaving that out? Kimmy just goes ahead and asks Destiny if she has spoken to Melody, and Destiny admits that she has not. Kimmy just wants all of them to get to a space where they can get along and be around one another because they used to have fun. And of course, Tisha has to chime in and say that they don't have to get along to be cordial, because they are all adults, and that she can be in a room with anybody. But of course, Kimmy has to remind Tisha about her dealings with Stormy, and Tisha boldly says that if Stormy starts it, she will finish it. But Kimmy tells Tisha that she sometimes starts it. Tisha asks for specifics, and Kimmy just starts laughing. However, Destiny thinks that the situation between Stormy and Tisha is fixable and that they should have a conversation. Tisha says that she can sit and have a conversation with Stormy as long as she doesn't take any jabs at her. Apparently, she is no longer letting jabs slide. Kimmy then suggests that Destiny have a conversation with Melody, to which Destiny tells them that she doesn't have any smoke for anybody, but if anyone wants smoke with her, she's going to burn the mofo down. Tell me that I wasn't alone rolling my eyes upon hearing this. In the second scene, Martell meets up with Nell Fletcher at a cute little smoothie shop. They greet each other, and Martell says to her that every time that he gets a call from her, he feels like he's in trouble, and it just makes Nell laugh. Martell knows that the conversation that he is about to have with Nell will be about Melody. Nell tells him about her speaking to Melody about her having a problem with her having him arrested, but that Melody did it because Martell threatened to release the revenge video. She asked Martell why he would do something like that. Now, Martell denies that he ever said to Melody that he was going to put out a revenge video. He even says some gibberish about Melody talking to someone else about the revenge video. Hold up. Are we supposed to forget what the text message that he sent her with that attached photo said? Martell shows Nell the message that he sent Melody on his phone. Everyone remembers that threat, Martell. Your problem, sir, is that you never mention what Melody supposedly did or said to you in order for you to issue that threat to her. Tell us what she did that you considered to be bullying. Go ahead, we'll wait. Nell tells him that at some point, one of them needs to stop and take accountability. And she brings up the 4 beautiful children and that, if this continues, they will fuck their kids up. In Nell's confessional, she basically said that when kids become adults, they will pick a side. She and Chris are going through a similar situation with her stepdaughter Lexi because of the side chick comments, and now Nell is getting the backlash from all of it. Back in scene, Martell thinks it's funny that Nell doesn't think she's a 304, aka HOE, aka garden tool, which they bleeped out with a dog barking sound. Again, Nell starts defending herself by saying that Chris was separated with divorce papers. When she found out that he was married, she left him alone. Martell then smugly recaps what she says by stating that she at one point had to leave Chris alone because she found out that he was married. Back in her confessional, Nell reiterates that she was never a mistress, and that the only mistress was the side chick that Martell had. She's been Chris's wife for almost 30 years. This is serious for Nell, and Martell is treating it like a game. Just like he treated his life and Melody like a game. It's not a game for her. Once we return to scene, Nell then tells Martell that her birthday is coming up, and that she isn't inviting him because she is inviting Melody instead. Martell lets her know that it is cool. Nell wanted to tell Martell this to his face because Melody clearly doesn't want to be in the same space as Martell. She doesn't want her birthday party ruined. In Martell's confessional, he sarcastically says happy birthday and that he didn't have to know anything about her party. He doesn't need to be invited to meet up with her only to be told that he was not going to be invited to her party. He doesn't need to know that Nell is Team Melody. He essentially said, F that party because he doesn't want to go to a 60-plus-year-old's birthday party. Back in scene, he tells Nell that it is what it is, which is where the scene ends. I'm actually a little grateful that Nell told Martell that he wasn't invited to her party. Given his history, he would more than likely crash her party just to be able to be around Melody. This way, he knows he isn't welcome and isn't on the guest list. Also, he seemed a little bothered to me. Let me know in the comments if you think that Martell is a little sore that he doesn't have an invitation to the party. In the third scene, Marceau Scott is at Black Cigar Lounge. Maurice walks in, and Marceau tells him that he invited Moses to pull up. Maurice tells his brother that the Moses and Sunny situation happened fast because it seems like Moses and Destiny broke up and then Moses married Sunny. Marceau reminds us that he dated Tisha only for a month, and then he proposed to her. I'm going to be 100% honest. That would have sent me running, like Flo Jo if I was Tisha, but let's move on. Then, Moses magically appears through the door. In Marceau's confessional, he said that he met Moses through Destiny. They apparently went on couples dates with them along with Courtney and Stormy. Marceau and Moses exchanged numbers and talked to each other from time to discuss business. I wonder when this was, since Tisha and Stormy aren't besties at the moment. Maurice asks Moses if he and Sunny are moving to Huntsville, and Moses tells him that he sees how Huntsville is booming. Maurice asks what happened between him and Destiny, and Moses just basically says that it didn't work out between them. Maurice tells Moses that he thinks that the breaks should have been clearer between Destiny and Sunny. He then proceeds to tell Moses that he had left his marital home a year before he filed papers and even met Kimmy. In Maurice's confessional, he states that he dealt with rumors regarding his relationship with Kimmy for years. His advice to Moses is going to be to get ahead of things and don't let anything that isn't true grow legs, and to protect his wife. Please forgive me, but I can't take anything that Maurice says seriously. Let's move on. Marceau and Maurice advise Moses to get ahead of the story concerning him, Destiny, and Sunny, because they want to know what is going to happen when Sunny starts becoming depressed because of all of this. And Marceau claims that he almost lost his marriage because of social media comments. Really? Marceau? It didn't have anything to do with all of the alleged infidelity? Allegations? Also, what makes you automatically assume that the social media comments will lead Sunny to depression? Back in Marceau's confessional, he says that Moses reminds him of Martell because he's very headstrong. He proclaims that he's an expert when it comes to a lot of people having comments on your marriage. Back in scene, Maurice thinks that Moses should talk to Destiny and get her blessing, but Marceau thinks it's a bad idea. Oh my god, I agree with Marceau. Moses is already married to Sunny, so he doesn't need Destiny to bless their union. Plus, I seriously doubt that Kiowa gave Kimmy and Maurice her blessing. I'm just saying. In Moses's confessional, he doesn't think he owes anything to Destiny, but he can have a conversation now to mend things and move forward. Maurice has the nerve to ask Moses how old he is and when he and Sunny plan on having kids. Moses's response is, any day now because they did IVF. Apparently, right after they got married in December of 2023. I honestly can't believe that I'm hearing this. There is so much to unpack. Never mind Maurice getting all in Sunny's and Moses's business. But when actually did Sunny and Moses start the IVF process in their relationship? Because they didn't get serious with their relationship until August of 2023, and they started IVF in December of the same year. The math is not mathing for me. In the next scene, we find Latricia and Ken at the gym working out, and Stormy and Courtney meet them there. In Stormy's and Courtney's confessional, she says Latricia invited them to work out. However, Courtney doesn't want to lift weights. He says that he prefers going to lunch or dinner. We learn that Ken and Trisha work out twice a day, at 5 in the morning and at lunch, sometimes after work. Courtney and Ken break off from the ladies to work out separately. Out of the blue, Stormy claims that she wants to do a fitness competition. Meanwhile, Courtney tells Ken that he didn't know that Ken and Trish were dating. And Stormy mentions to Trisha that she is moving into a new warehouse. Wait, what warehouse is this? Is Stormy moving yet again? Or is this the old new warehouse? I can't keep up anymore. We learn that Latricia lost her parents and her sister. She claims that people show their true colors when you need them, and her ex showed her red flags after her parents and sister passed away. In her confessional, she feels that she lost her marriage along with losing her parents and her sister. This made her not trust anyone. She faded away from people because of it. In Ken's conversation with Courtney, he states that Trisha couldn't control herself in the beginning of their relationship. He insinuated that it was due to her temper and anger. Is anybody else getting She-Hulk vibes when it comes to Trisha? Also, Stormy is freaking me out yet again. Last week, she was talking about stabbing grass. This week, she's talking about how she was stabbing walls with knives and scissors. And Latricia sounds like she has done the same thing. This behavior is not normal. And if this was my reality, I would seek professional help instead of casually talking about it on reality TV as if it was common. I know they have a therapist on site to film the show, but I need a therapist just to cope with listening to their anger issues. Or maybe I just need a stiff drink. I guarantee that I won't get in my car and drive anywhere afterwards like Maurice recently did. Let's move on. In Trisha's confessional, she said she has done everything to push Ken away, but he just comes closer. Back in scene, Ken tells Courtney that he and Trisha are like high schoolers. If they aren't together, they are on the phone, and that they have been dating for 2 years. Stormy again asks about wedding bells, just like she did in last week's episode. Did she already forget that Latricia said yes? Geez. Latricia tells Stormy that she and Ken have a lot of hurdles to jump over. When Stormy asks what those hurdles are, she says it's her ex. Did Trisha just say that they both have paperwork they haven't signed? Here we go. During my review on episode 3, I said something about Trisha and her ex was fishy. I invite you to watch that episode after this one. In Stormy's confessional, she says that she is glad that Trisha trusts her enough to share that she's still married to her husband, Carlos King. What the are we doing here? Are you seriously trying to normalize affairs and side pieces? Trisha, why would you get on national television and flaunt your affair? And side dude, it's bad enough Carlos King tried to downplay threats and DV. Now, we have to put up with this? In their confessional, Trisha admits that she didn't tell Ken that she was married in the beginning. She only waited until they were 4 or 5 months in. Meanwhile, Ken was still living with his ex. So, they were going through similar situations. I'm definitely going to have that drink after this video. Hell, maybe 2 or 3 drinks. And trust me when I tell you that I won't be driving anywhere afterwards like Maurice Scott. I'm too cute for DUIs and jail time. When Stormy brings up TikTok and her new body drops launch, I'd never been so happy for a conversation to pivot. She wants Trisha to perhaps help with the TikTok launch by being a model. And that finally ends that uncomfortable scene. In the 5th scene, we find Martell back at his investment property that he is working on. Chris Fletcher stops by and remembered to bring booties this time when visiting Martell. In his confessional, Martell mentions how the investment property is coming along and how he enjoys the process of building. This house will be up for sale or rent in a few days. He gives Chris a tour of the 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom single-family home that he has been working on. Once they go to the backyard, Martell asks Chris if he has someone that may be interested in the property, and Chris says that he does. Chris tells Martell that he had a talk with Nell, and he thinks that she deserves an apology from Martell for calling her a side chick. Martell asks Chris if he was married when he met Nell. Chris explains that he was separated on paper and going through a divorce when he met Nell, so his wife isn't a side chick. To which Martell says that she isn't a side chick now, and Chris says she never was. Mofo. Ugh, here we go with this BS. But Martell asks Chris what the definition of a side chick is, and Chris just said it was something people made up. Let me help you out here, Chris. The way you should have answered that question is by saying, a side chick is anyone named Ariane Curry. Or you could have said, your paramour. Mofo. But I digress. Martell just says that if Chris says that Nell wasn't a side chick, then he won't call her one. Then, Chris says how Melody and Nell met up and got more info on Martell's arrest. This is where Martell appears so full of it. Chris tries to get clarification on what Martell sent Melody. But now, Martell is claiming he deleted the picture, but suggests that Chris ask Melody to show it to him. I want Martell to explain exactly what Melody was doing to bully him. I doubt that it was anything at all, but I would like to hear whatever lie or excuse that he comes up with. Chris asks him what the resolution is, and Martell is struggling to come up with a good answer. He just talks in freaking circles and constantly tells Chris to ask Melody. Chris flips the script and asks him if he thinks that he owes Melody an apology. In classic Martell form, he asks Chris if he had asked Melody that. Every time that Martell is put into an uncomfortable position where he doesn't have a rehearsed lie ready to spit out, he always tries to reverse engineer the conversation. I see you, Martell. Do better. Or, just tell the truth. In the 6th and final scene, Destiny meets up with Moses at a restaurant. They coldly say what's up to one another. As Destiny sits down and removes her gloves, Moses tells her that they need to talk to clear up some things that have been going on. He wants to get her point of view as well. In his confessional, he admits that he doesn't want Sonny cast in a bad light after talking to the Scott brothers, and that he wants to set the record straight. He and Destiny were over. He and Sonny got together later, and he is sorry for not communicating with Destiny that he was moving on with Sonny. At this point, I wish Hallmark just made a card for these situations. Like, I'm sorry I picked her and not you. Or, number one side chick. Or, you are being promoted from my side chick to my main chick. And of course, we need a card for the main chick getting demoted to a side chick. I just pray that Carlos King doesn't steal my greeting card ideas like he does the ideas of other people. Just remember that you heard it here on the Aries Girl podcast first. Back in scene, Destiny says that she thinks that Moses and Sunny intended to hurt her, but Moses said when she didn't show up for his birthday, he said to her that they should just be friends because she wasn't there for him like he needed. Destiny responds by saying that he wanted her to woo him like he was a female. Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Destiny go around claiming that she has big D energy? If so, Destiny, wooing Moses shouldn't have been a problem for you. I'm just saying. Moses claims he and Destiny ended in April of 2023, but Destiny says it was August, because he had sent her money in August. Destiny, girl, he's married now. Move on. Move on right now. She calls him a liar because she has text messages proving him wrong, and Moses tells her to pull the texts up. Oops. All Destiny could say at this point was, don't play with me. She should have just shown her receipts if she had any. But she gets a little rah-rah, telling Moses that she's still her, and he responds by saying that he was still him. Of course, this is where the episode ends. We have to wait until next week for the foolishness to continue. Could somebody please tell me why Destiny is embarrassing herself like this? Did she really need a check this bad? I only see this restaurant scene getting worse. However, I will tune in again next week to continue watching this dumpster fire. This concludes my recap and review of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 8, Episode number 4 entitled Keep My Wife's Name Out Your Mouth. I appreciate those of you who have already subscribed to support the channel. And for those of you that haven't yet subscribed, I invite you to do so now. I will see you on the next Aries Girl podcast. Until then.